just about to jump into semi-final number 1, which is between Moscow 5 and IWantCookie. And I'm over the top because I know that Panky is going to be joining us. Panks, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good, Trevor. It's been a while.
Yes, it has been. I need to drop my Skype volume because I may have just deafened all the viewers. Alright, so yeah, dude, how you doing, Chris?
I'm good. I'm a little bit disappointed. I was kind of hoping to still be in this round, but, well, Extinct Syndra, not quite up to scratch.
Yeah, I heard so. A couple of guys in chat were saying Panky too heavy, apparently.
My support disconnected, and Extinct was 4 and 12, so I don't think it was my fault.
Alright, well, I believe you. I know you're the honourable one here. So, what are the chances you've been able to spectate the bans and picks just yet for Moscow 5 IWantCookie?
I can't just yet, but as soon as the delay kicks in, I will be able to see them.
Okay, sweet. Well, so far, Katarina, Jax banned out for Moscow 5. Orianna, Elise banned out for IWantCookie. 2 remaining. We've already seen Fnatic took out Giants in quite a dominant display. I believe Moscow 5 did something similar to the Mighty Midgets. And Eclipsia going out to Alternate, I believe. So a little bit of a surprise, if that's the right term there.
Eclipse, I think, went out to IWantCookie.
There we go, IWantCookie. Sorry, you're right.
Curse went out to Alternate.
That's it. There we go.
That one hit me at home. It's, I don't know, I don't think there's anything too crazy there. I think some people would have expected Curse to take on Alternate, but if we had the full lineup, maybe things would be a little bit different. Unfortunately, that's not the case. But other than that, no, I don't think there's anything too surprising. It's set up for a great set of semi-finals. And yeah, with everyone that's left, it's going to be an exciting final.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Interestingly, Moscow 5 have actually let the third and final ban go blank. So I don't know if they just agreed to banning a third one in chat or not. Let's see if Gosu can shed some light on that one. Who was third ban? But thus far, we see Diamond Proxy's locked in his Xin'Zhao. Over on the other side, Ezreal and Nunu locked in for IWantCookie. IWantCookie, how long have they been playing together? It can't be very long.
IWantCookie, it's been maybe 2 months tops. I think it's they've been around quietly, little online tournaments, a couple of 4PLs go for lols, those kind of things here and there. But yeah, I mean, we're waiting for them to make a big splash, waiting for them to make their say DreamHack qualify spot like Mighty Midgets or something similar. But they've been here steady in the background for a little while now.
Now, out of interest, do you know if any of the teams, sort of like IWantCookie or similar, are going to be heading to the Bring Your Own Computer LAN at DreamHack just yet?
I don't. I've been trying to find out if anyone will be. There was a couple of people we hoped would be there, Eclipse being one of them, but unfortunately that's not possible. And yeah, I'm waiting to see. Maybe there'll be some surprise names mixed in that BYOC section.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. I mean, it's a huge bracket, 256 team bracket, and 2 slots in a $50,000 tournament. So it's worth trying.
It's going to be a crazy day of games. It's awesome as well. And like DreamHack, it's huge. I expect we'd fill at least 200 of those slots. I can't remember the last numbers from the last BYOC, but there's a lot of people there, and we can easily fill that kind of spot.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. For everybody that's on stream that maybe hasn't heard or didn't know, myself and Panky will be shoutcasting the entire event, and it will be taking place on Thursday and Friday, and I'm more than a little bit excited.
That's one way to put it. I'm counting the days. Sweden DreamHack. It's one of these. Like, ever since I first started playing games and talking with friends and LANs came up in discussion, DreamHack's been that goal, so to speak. That's the ultimate LAN party to attend. And now to be able to do it and working and casting a tournament like this, dream come true.
Yeah, it's really, really awesome. I've been lucky enough. I attended the Winter DreamHack in 2008. And it absolutely blew my mind. But while we've been waffling about this, Moscow 5 have actually locked in their entire roster. So they banned out Katarina, Jax, and Zilian. And they've locked in Diana for mid. We've got potentially Shen or Xin'Zhao. It's probably going to be Xin in the jungle, Shen up top, and a Vayne Taric bottom lane. Over on the flip side for IWantCookie, Ezreal, Nunu, Kayle, Janna. And we're waiting for their, I would assume, top laner now. If that's going to be Nunu in the jungle, Kayle top. No, that'll be mid laner then, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch V5 stream, but as you say, there's a slight delay, so Moscow 5's last 2 picks still aren't actually in here. But from Ice Fantasy or Ice Fantasy currently having their Kayle pick, could be switching straight out with Young Buck. That will be your AD carry top lane straight switch.
Wow, they've locked in Elise.
Okay. Now, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I hear Voyboy did some pretty crazy things with her in the TSM tournament this weekend.
Yes, I heard apparently he hacked the server was the phrase that was going around on Twitter.
Okay.
So yeah, it looks like it's going to be okay. Currently, Young Buck is sitting with Elise, which implies to me that's going to be Elise top, and Shushe's got Kayle, Young Buck's got Elise, so probably Elise mid, Kayle top. I have to familiarize myself with Elise because I'll be honest with you, I haven't even looked at her.
Yeah, I know what her abilities do, and I can recognize the animations as they go through, but I couldn't tell you names.
Yep. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I want to see how they're going to play with this repel ability of hers, jumping in and out of different locations, getting to safety and things like that. It's going to be an interesting one. So we're down to the last minute. Have a quick look once again. It is going to be Darren in the top lane as Shen, Diamond Prox with Xin'Zhao in the jungle, Vayne Taric bottom lane, and Diana in the middle, facing off against Elise, Shushe playing Kayle, Ice Fantasy on Ezreal, Movert on Janna, and Nunu being played by Acer. Amazing. Please tell me you can join the spectator.
I can join the spectator.
Fantastic, fantastic. So I'm going to take a look through some of these runes. Nunu in the jungle, and somebody we haven't actually seen too much lately. He's always there, he's always around, but you don't see him quite as often as we used to.
Yeah, I mean, he's a very controlling jungler from what I hear from Curse at the moment. They like to ban him actually at the moment, so against a lot of teams. Eclipse here, one of them. Not going to have to do that now, but yeah, he can just control the pace of a game, whether it be by counter jungling with his consume, taking things from the other jungler, keeping them locked down from behind, or just that slow and the mobility from his Blood Boil. He's just all over the map, just being a nuisance if not getting a kill every time, just keeping everyone that little bit on their toes, a little bit paranoid. Can control the pace of a game.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I'm wondering about this. Is this going to be a Kayle mid and an Elise top? Because I've always thought Kayle, Young Buck was the top player, but Elise would be the mid champ and Kayle would be the top champ in a standard meta.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to wait and see if we get it in before I make too many predictions. It is Young Buck on Elise, so I would suggest top. Voyboy did run it top this weekend. That's the way those go. But I mean, it's not unheard of to hear players switching lanes within a team. They might have or maybe they do it halfway through the game, sort of thing. They can start off with Elise top, Kayle mid, and then realizing it's not going the right way, try and switch it back up in the opposite direction. So we'll wait and see what they decide on.
And of course, it is a best of 3, so they've got this game to play around with, test out the composition. If it works, they get an early win. If it doesn't work, then they got 2 more games to play a slightly more standard meta or something similar.
Yeah, very much so. Why not?
So,
play a gamble, see if you can get a quick free win.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? Throw it all to the wind. If you pick it up, awesome. If it doesn't work, then try it out. Anyways, I do need to run a very quick advert break. So when we are back in a minute and a half, we'll be kicking off this best of 3. I believe I need to throw some more volume on Mr. Panky, so I'll be fixing that in the meantime. I'll check you guys in 90 seconds. We are just about to jump into semi-final number 1, which is between Moscow 5 and IWantCookie. And I'm over the top because I know that Panky is going to be joining us. Panks, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good, Trevor. It's been a while.
Yes, it has been. I need to drop my Skype volume because I may have just deafened all the viewers. All right, so yeah, dude, how you doing, Chris?
I'm good. I'm a little bit disappointed. I was kind of hoping to still be in this round, but well, Extinct Syndra, not quite up to scratch.
Yeah, I heard so. A couple of guys in chat were saying Panky too heavy. Panky too heavy, apparently.
My support disconnected, and Extinct was 4 and 12, so I don't think it was my fault.
Alright, well, I believe you. I believe you. I know you're the honourable one here. So, what are the chances you've been able to spectate the bans and picks just yet for Moscow 5 IWantCookie?
I can't just yet, but as soon as the delay kicks in, I will be able to see them.
Okay, sweet. Well, so far, Katarina, Jax banned out for Moscow 5. Orianna, Elise banned out for IWantCookie. 2 remaining. We've already seen Fnatic took out Giants in quite a dominant display. I believe Moscow 5 did something similar to the Mighty Midgets. And Eclipse going out to Alternate, I believe. So a little bit of a surprise, if that's the right term there.
Eclipse, I think, went out to IWantCookie.
There we go. IWantCookie. Sorry, you're right. You're right.
Curse went out to Alternate.
That's it. There we go. There we go.
That one hit me at home. I don't know. I don't think there's anything too crazy there. I think some people would have expected Curse to take on alternate, but if we had the full lineup, maybe things would be a little bit different. Unfortunately, that's not the case. But other than that, no, I don't think there's anything too surprising. It's set up for a great set of semi-finals, and yeah, with everyone that's left, it's going to be an exciting final.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Interestingly, Moscow 5 have actually let the third and final ban go blank. So I don't know if they just agreed to banning a third one in chat or not. Let's see if Gosu can shed some light on that one. Who was third ban? But thus far, we see Diamond Proxy's locked in his Xin'Zhao. Over on the other side, Ezreal and Nunu locked in for IWantCookie. IWantCookie, how long have they been playing together? It can't be very long.
IWantCookie, it's been maybe 2 months tops. I think it's they've been around quietly, little online tournaments, a couple of 4PLs go for lols, those kind of things here and there. But yeah, I mean, we're waiting for them to make a big splash, waiting for them to make their say DreamHack qualify spot like Mighty Midgets or something similar. But they've been here steady in the background for a little while now.
Now, out of interest, do you know if any of the teams, sort of like IWantCookie or similar, are going to be heading to the Bring Your Own Computer LAN at DreamHack just yet?
I don't. I've been trying to find out if anyone will be. There was a couple of people we hoped would be there, Eclipse being one of them, but unfortunately that's not possible. And yeah, I'm waiting to see. Maybe there'll be some surprise names mixed in that BYOC section.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. I mean, it's a huge bracket, 256 team bracket, and 2 slots in a $50,000 tournament. So it's worth trying.
It's going to be a crazy day of games. It's awesome as well. And like DreamHack, it's huge. I expect we'd fill at least 200 of those slots. I can't remember the last numbers from the last BYOC, but there's a lot of people there, and we can easily fill that kind of spot.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. For everybody that's on stream that maybe hasn't heard or didn't know, myself and Panky will be shoutcasting the entire event, and it will be taking place on Thursday and Friday, and I'm more than a little bit excited.
That's one way to put it. I'm counting the days. Sweden DreamHack. It's one of these. Like, ever since I first started playing games and talking with friends and LANs came up in discussion, DreamHack's been that goal, so to speak. That's the ultimate LAN party to attend, and now to be able to do it and working and casting a tournament like this, dream come true.
Yeah, it's really, really awesome. I've been lucky enough, I attended the Winter DreamHack in 2008, and it absolutely blew my mind. But while we've been waffling about this, Moscow 5 have actually locked in their entire roster. So they banned out Katarina, Jax, and Zilian, and they've locked in Diana for mid. We've got potentially Shen or Xin'Zhao. It's probably going to be Xin in the jungle, Shen up top, and a Vayne Taric bottom lane. Over on the flip side for IWantCookie, Ezreal, Nunu, Kayle, Janna, and we're waiting for their, I would assume, top laner now, if that's going to be Nunu in the jungle, Kayle top. No, that'll be mid laner then, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch the 5 stream, but as you say, there's a slight delay, so Moscow 5's last 2 picks still aren't actually in here. But from Ice Fantasy Ice Fantasy currently having their Kayle pick, could be switching straight out with Young Buck. That will be your AD carry top lane straight switch.
Wow, they've locked in Elise.
Okay. Now, I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I hear Voyboy did some pretty crazy things with her in the TSM tournament this weekend.
Yes, I heard apparently he hacked the server, was the phrase that was going around on Twitter.
Okay.
So yeah, it looks like it's going to be okay. Currently, Young Buck is sitting with Elise, which implies to me that's going to be Elise top, and Shushe's got Kayle, Young Buck's got Elise, so probably Elise mid, Kayle top. I have to familiarize myself with Elise because I'll be honest with you, I haven't even looked at her.
Yeah, I know what her abilities do, and I can recognize the animations as they go through, but I couldn't tell you names.
Yep. We'll figure it out. I want to see how they're going to play with this repel ability of hers, jumping in and out of different locations, getting to safety and things like that. It's going to be an interesting one. So we're down to the last minute. Have a quick look once again. It is going to be Darren in the top lane as Shen, Diamond Prox with Xin'Zhao in the jungle, Vayne Taric bottom lane, and Diana in the middle. Facing off against Elise, Shushe playing Kayle, Ice Fantasy on Ezreal, Movert on Janna, and Nunu being played by Acer Amazing. Please tell me you can join the spectator.
I can join the spectator.
Fantastic. So I'm going to take a look through some of these runes. Nunu in the jungle, and somebody we haven't actually seen too much lately. He's always there, he's always around, but you don't see him quite as often as we used to.
Yeah, I mean, he's a very controlling jungler from what I hear from Curse at the moment. They like to ban him actually at the moment. It's against a lot of teams. Eclipse here, one of them. Not going to have to do that now. But yeah, he can just control the pace of a game, whether it be by counter jungling with his consume, taking things from the other jungler, keeping them locked down from behind, or just that slow and the mobility from his Blood Boil. He's just all over the map, just being a nuisance, if not getting a kill every time, just keeping everyone that little bit on their toes, a little bit paranoid. Can control the pace of a game.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I'm wondering about this. Is this going to be a Kayle mid and an Elise top? Because I've always thought Kayle, Youngbuck was the top player, but Elise would be the mid champ and Kayle would be the top champ in a standard meta.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to wait and see if we get it in before I make too many predictions. It is Youngbuck on Elise, so I would suggest top. Voidboy did run it top this weekend. That's the way those go. But I mean, it's not unheard of to hear players switching lanes within a team. They might have or maybe they do it halfway through the game, sort of thing. They can start off with Elise top, Kayle mid, and then realizing it's not going the right way, try and switch it back up in the opposite direction. So we'll wait and see what they decide on.
And of course, it is a best of 3, so they've got this game to play around with, test out the composition. If it works, they get an early win. If it doesn't work, then they've got 2 more games to play a slightly more standard meta or something similar.
Yeah, very much so. Why not play a gamble, see if you can get a quick free win?
Yeah, exactly. Why not? Throw it all to the wind. If you pick it up, awesome. If it doesn't work, then try it out. Anyways, I do need to run a very quick advert break. So when we are back in a minute and a half, we'll be kicking off this best of 3. I believe I need to throw some more volume on Mr. Panky, so I'll be fixing that in the meantime. I'll check you guys in 90 seconds. Back. So Panky, I've cranked up I think I've got my overlays working correctly, and in theory, this game's good to go.
Hopefully so. I'm watching everyone set up and buy and shop and get things going. Let's see what chat say about volume. But level 1, what do we expect? Honestly, I mean, if they did fight, if they met straight face up, I'd have to give it to Moscow 5 purely on the fact they have that Taric stun level 1. But you also have to look in if Youngbuck spell levels the right ability. I don't know what you're going to start with on Elise. He has a stun at level 1 in Cocoon as well. Then you've got a knockup from Janna. Does look like Moscow 5 are looking for something. Darren's going to take a Mystic Shot to the face. But then, as a group, they're going to rotate around towards that blue buff.
Yeah, we've seen this from Fnatic. They played very aggressive early on. They had a Zyra as well, so just be able to throw those grasping roots out and hold people in place. But it didn't amount to much. They got in, placed the blue buff ward, and pretty much just got all the information that they needed in terms of vision and controlling the jungle. Once Cho'Gath picked up his blue, they knew exactly where he was going. But look at this cheeky positioning from Moscow 5 and a ping on the bottom lane. So are we going to see first blood here? Mover is walking close. Going to be so close. Is it going to be enough for Dazzle? Dazzle comes up. Beautiful flash from Muvit. Really, really great reaction timing there to get away from that slow missile.
It was a very slow reaction, if anything, from Moscow 5, to be completely honest. Maybe they weren't expecting him to walk past quite so soon, or weren't expecting him to walk past at all, for that matter. But honestly, if this was perhaps a Lanivin, if this was DreamHack, not that they're there, we might have maybe seen a faster reaction there. I don't know. Gosu off the game at the moment.
Yeah, just a little bit slow. Interestingly, take a look at the summoner spells. We have Genja rocking Flash and Exhaust, and Gosu Pepper going Flash Ignite. So interesting, obviously giving Vayne the ability to duel, I suppose, putting that Exhaust down into either Elise or Kayle, which I think is going to be very, very crucial once this game gets going.
Yeah, and then I like it. Taric, of course, he's got to get it in melee range to pop his Shatter, to pop his ultimate as well. His Radiance, sorry. So yeah, why not? He's going to be closer. He can get that Ignite off onto the right target, and Genja only needs to use Exhaust if someone comes in range to do damage to him. Works in a team fight as well. If there's a Bruiser running all over Genja, Gosu might not necessarily be in range of that, so allows Genja to keep himself safe. But we're already seeing a counter jungling coming out of Nunu.
Yeah, he's medium thin. There is a ward there, so he actually decided not to go for the blue buff. He's just placing the ward. I'm going to assume that's there for just, for a potential smite steal. But let's talk about these two lane matchups. First of all, Kayle in the mid. It's a champion we've seen in competitive play for quite a while. Great versatility, great damage, especially if he builds, sort of an AD. But how does Kayle match up against Diana? It's a matchup that I don't think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I don't think I've ever seen it, even in like normal games with friends or low queues as I normally play. never seen that matchup, so I don't know how this is going to go. But at the moment, it does seem to be in favor of Suchet, especially with these early levels.
Well, I can imagine he's going to be able to survive. Actually, you know what, if you think about it, he's got, a range slow, he's got a heal, he's got ranged AoE, although may give up first blood here. Flash from Diamond Prox, gets the red buff as well as a knock-up, and a very, very nice gank from Diamond Prox. But in terms of champion versus champion, the slow, the heal, the ability to block the burst, now we see a gank up in the top lane. Is the Ice Blast going to get into range? That's the question. Darian's duped away, Shadow dashes, flash forward, Cocoon's going to hold him in place. Ice Blast does actually land, and now they're going to jump, but YoungBuck is the next member that's in trouble. Diamond Prox gets the knock-up onto, amazing, and he's forced to burn his flash to safety, but just, it felt like a very slow-paced gank in that top lane.
It was slow, it was concise, it was persistent, but didn't quite result in the kill he wanted. Darian using his taunt actually to get back across into range of CS, because he knew walking he'd end up taking too much damage, but doing so, they have kept Diamond Prox here and forced Amazing to cancel his recall to save YoungBuck. So we shouldn't see any kind of crazy death action here from Moscow 5, but they have pushed that into the turret now, forced YoungBuck to fight that tower for the CS, and it should reset the lane shortly. Diamond Prox rotating around behind the turret, looking to maybe try and catch Nunu out, but he suspected it, he's made himself plenty safe enough back deep within that top lane.
Yeah, very, very smart going all the way back. YoungBuck is going toe-to-toe with Darian, and he's actually winning out. All those spiderlings and minions are doing so much damage. Darian is trying to get to safety. Diamond Prox is close by, and that was the repel that I was talking about. Such a nice play. Repel's up. He's going to carry on chasing. Does YoungBuck have Ignite? No, unfortunately not. So Darian manages to get away with his life in that engagement. But in terms of dueling power, Elise seems to be able to out-duel Shen at this low level.
Definitely the indications so far. YoungBuck happily just checking on those health potions. He is out of them now, so we'll see if that makes any kind of impact. But Darian very, very low. Still has Nunu nearby. And if I remember correctly, YoungBuck has a percentage health damage nuke. If I find the right item, I'm trying to look through her abilities.
I believe it's on her spittle.
There we go, it's on her Q, yeah. Venomous Bite. Lunges to a target, poisonous bite that does magic damage equal to, I don't know, she switched form. Something close to 8 or 9% of the target's maximum health. So yeah, Darren's got to be careful.
This is interesting as well. Take a look at Suchet. Sorcerer's Shoes on Kayle. So is this going to be an AP Kayle?
Could be. Her E is magic damage, so that's going to benefit from that. And this is constant harass up onto Alex at the moment, landing that slow, landing the constant harass using that range damage from AE, making Alex locked back under that turret, fight for CS using Crescent Strike. So yeah, early bit of penetration, keep going for it. You can still always go into AD a bit later on, but for these early levels when there's very little amount of magic resist and small amounts of health, so to speak, on Alex Itch, make the most of it, go through that use that penetration. As Alex in hurt goes deep in onto Suchet, dashing forward with the Lunar Rush and the Moonfall to bring him back, landing some more auto attacks and leaving it at that, forcing Suchet to chug some health potions and get back under his own turret, as Alex is still actually a level above Suchet.
Yeah, no intervention yet either, so he's not going to be able to give himself that couple of seconds of immunity from damage. Look at this bottom lane now. Nunu is looking to set something up. I don't know if we're going to see a dive. It's something that we actually seen out of Fnatic. A 3.5 minute level 2, level 3 tower dive. And it did result in their first blood. And it does actually look like this is going to happen. But this may not work out for them just yet. Gosu Pepper, the Ignite is ticking on him. Couple of tower attacks go onto Janna. Genji and Gosu somehow still alive. Flash forward from Ice Fantasy. He manages to pick up 1. But now that Xin has jumped in at 1, 2, third attack of the 3 towers is going to be picking it up. Ice Fantasy gets a double. And with a very, very smart play from Suchet, he makes it down to this bottom lane and manages to pick up the kill. So that's a blue buff. Alex Itch does land a good Crescent Strike, but wisely doesn't commit against what was effectively 4 members of IWantCookie. And all of a sudden, IWantCookie in the driving seat, 3-1 up and 1,000 gold with a blue buff donation over to Kayle. So Nunu can keep his.
Yeah, very sloppy final finish from Moscow 5. It's something that you very rarely see from them. Their execution is normally pristine, but they did, unfortunately, not manage to pull it off this time. They're down by only 1,000 gold, but with this blue buff now on Kayle, Alex is about to have even more issues in the mid lane. He's going to have to spam his abilities. That is slows, his Righteous Fury. Alex obviously showing up to 4, trying to do what he can, but they were not low enough for him to clean up the entire fight and just had to get to safety under turret. He does go into Suchet just for a little bit of poke damage. They cannot keep going as he would have been under turret. Has to back away. Suchet looking like he wants to recall. Alex should take advantage of this, shove this into turret, force him to miss some experience in CS. But in actual fact, So she's going to go around and grab his own blue buff just to refresh this duration and make sure it can't be stolen by Diamondprox.
Yeah, that's quite true. And that's an interesting decision, actually. I mean, fair enough, Xin'Zhao gets the full duration again. He managed to take advantage of it. But I feel maybe giving that to Nunu, using the full duration, maybe going for a steal if they got wards, could have played into their favor. But they're the pro players, I'm the caster, so we'll leave it to them. Take a look at Ezreal in the bottom lane. On the back of that double kill, he's returned with the Doran's Blade and a BF sword. So those Mystic shots are really going to hurt a lot now.
Was that an off the back of that comment, quick shot? Off the back of that double kill?
Well, not just the double kill, but double kill the farm. Yeah.
Oh no! It's not that. It's the off the back of. It's a D-man homage to D-man off the back of.
I think I've been watching him cast so often in the last few months. I think I'm starting to cast like him as well.
It's not a bad thing. You can cast more like... I think we could all cast a bit more like D-Man. It's arguably...
Oh, middle lane. Xin'Zhao's been caught out. Manages to get intervention up. Alex, flash, Lunar Rush. Manages to pick up the kill. But beautiful play from Alex. She landed the Crescent Strike. Comboed all of his abilities. Waited out the duration for intervention. And then just flashed and said, thank you very much. I'll take the kill and your blue buff for your troubles.
And on that, they're going to go in for a dragon with the help of Diamondprox and Gosu coming up from the bottom lane. Yeah, going to leave Vayne keep on pushing until the bottom lane for IWantCookie coming to try and stop it. And they suddenly realize they're a little bit too late. Do immediately back away from there. So that brings Moscow 5 straight back up and to level in the goal count, despite that early double kill for Ezreal. But Gender's still going to have a little bit of an issue. Ezreal very, very strong, but in the top lane, Ezreal, we do see the E used by YoungBuck gets him out of the turret aggro. Everything nice really down from Darian. Is it going to tick enough? It will do. And he falls down with Darian safely back under his own turret, continuing the CS. So an attempted dive from Elise and Nunu results in a kill for Shen.
Yeah, really nicely done. That taunt, the damage reduction, and the fact that, turret aggro got pulled for a little bit, it just really played into his favor. I must admit, I love watching Repel. It is one of my favorite abilities in this game. It just looks so cool to, jump up in the air and land somewhere else. Double Dorans and Sorcerer's Shoes in the hands of YoungBuck's Elise. Gosu Pepper manages to stun the creep.
I don't know. I said he was off his game earlier on. Maybe there's more to it. Stunning a creep. Gosu Pepper. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I want to find out actually. I wonder how much Moscow 5 are actually playing lately. I mean, they didn't make it to IEM Cologne. They got knocked out of the qualifier for that. How seriously are they practicing recently? They're not going to be at DreamHack, so I don't want to take anything away from the victories to the teams that played against them. But we know Moscow 5, if there's no LAN, they're a little more lax about their training regimes.
Very much so, and I'm just loading up Wikipedia. I'm fairly certain they're in a show match very, very soon, organised by Tencent. So I want to find the details on that one. Let's see.
Ooh, take a look up in the top lane. YoungBuck gets taunted, manages to flash. We do see a Lunar Rush coming out. Repel goes up, going to use the entire duration. Does need to land somewhere. Actually decides to land right on top of the champions. If Alexich gets his cooldowns available, which he does in 5, lands it. There's no Lunar Rush. 5 seconds, 4 seconds. YoungBuck manages to run away. And Nunu with Blood Boil and Xin'Zhao in the background, they manage to shove down this middle tower. Take a good 50% HP off of it. But YoungBuck, a slippery spider, gets away from a 3-man gank.
Very much so, and in actual fact, Genja getting dived in the mid lane, does immediately have to flash and condemn to get Amazing's Nunu back. The Ignite still ticking, but Sushi gets in range for one last swing of Righteous Fury to finish him off under that tier 2 turret.
Yeah, really nicely done. 4-3. They give up the kill in the middle. That tower is down incredibly low. One more push and that's going to go down. But the first tower of the game does actually go to Moscow 5. That was up in the top lane on the back of that pressure. With a kill advantage on gold, but that is of course due to the fact that Moscow 5 picked up an early dragon. So, once they get another dragon to balance that out, actually saying that, they have a dragon and a tower, and they're only 700 gold ahead. So, IWantCookie doing very, very well in the early stages of this game.
Very much so, but if we look at these comps, you've got Shen, you've got Vayne, and those two alone, that says, yeah, late game. IWantCookie need to have this advantage early on. They need to keep this advantage, or sorry, get this advantage back early on. And they need to end the game soon. If they're going to let that Vayne farm, if they're going to let Darian farm, they're going to get split push and team 4 into oblivion come later on. We do see Amazing chasing Alex. He's chasing straight down the mid lane. Do not quite manage to finish him off as Alex realizes he's going to fall, goes back in for the fight. Diamond comes in, and with the help of Darren, they're going to take down Sushi as well. Does pop intervention, and with the help from the heal of Mover, he's going to get a bit of health back. The shield goes up, the Ignite is there now, but Darren's going to flash into the bush, trying to finish from one lost auto attack, and the Ignite tick is there to finish the job.
Another nice play, you know, that was on the back of falling back. We've seen Diana and Shen just doing the best to get to safety. Arcane shift from Ice Fade to see just to get out of range of a couple of auto attacks from Vayne, but you know, they're just getting away, using that taunt, locking up Nunu, and just putting enough damage down over the... That was quite a long drawn-out fight, but like you said, if IWantCookie can't start stamping their authority in the next few minutes, Vayne is just going to get to a place where she can eat absolutely everybody alive.
Move it, just confusingly flashed over the wall into River to land a slow, and then the nothing. And they had to back away, so it was a bit of a waste of a flash as they tried to counteract that blue steal from Diamond Procs, but oh, he got the blue buff, he burnt a flash. He's in a very comfortable position, happy with the work he just did. So Ghost going to keep the pressure up in the bottom lane, and I haven't actually arranged my scoreboard, so this is confusing, but 10 CS between Genja and Ice Fantasy at the moment. It's not too much of a big difference, but if you actually look at the global gold, 4,500 for Ezreal, 3,900 for Vayne, so still about 600 gold difference in the grand scheme of things.
And the thing that's scary about that is, yeah, fair enough, that's 600 gold in the grand scheme of things, but look at the itemization. Ninja Tabe and a Zeal versus a Bloodthirster with, you know, 50% stacks and a Doran's Blade. I think Ezreal's going to be hitting significantly harder. 74 attack damage per hit, higher than Vayne right now. So he's in a power position for this next couple of minutes. And that's before Eye of the Storm. You know, you put Janna's Eye on the Storm on there, that's going to be another 40-odd attack damage. He's going to be able to eat through the low hit points of Genja.
Very much so, and it's not going to be far before that's maxed out. We do see Young Buckage again taunted in the top lane by Darren. Then there's Diamond Procs coming. He does get stunned up using the cocoon from Young Buck, but it's not enough. Darren has been forced to flash away under the turret. There's the rappel goes up and he leaps down onto Diamond Procs, but Suche is here with Amazing, and Diamond Procs is going to fall under that tier 1 turret of Moscow 5 in the top lane, and that might be the end of the turret as well. Darren cannot come back to defend it, and these three members of IWantCookie are going to keep the pressure up.
Yeah, carry on chasing while that's happening. Bottom lane, Ezreal and Janna, they've kept the pressure against the tower. Genja and Gosu feeling it, being forced to play incredibly defensively. We'll take a look at this. Gosu going a little bit aggressive, but they can't really trade, you know, 1-for-1. At the very least, Alexic was able to pick up that mid lane tower. So, you know, trading towers top for middle. Questionable as to, you know, what you prefer, but they also picked up a kill on the back of that, and Kayle got the double buff. You know, Shushe's got blue and red buff. He managed to refresh those. Take a look at this. Alexic going super, super deep, but he's alone. Vayne is not near there. Stand United comes out. He was alone for a second, but then, of course, the Shen ulti manages to close that one, and they pick up a double kill. Genja gets away with his life, and a beautiful, beautiful play. Initially, I thought, Alex, what are you doing? And all of a sudden, the shield from Shen appeared. They not only pick up 2 kills, but now they're going to challenge for Dragon. 4 versus 3 with a full health Elise, Kayle, and Nunu versus slightly lower HP Moscow 5 members. This is not going to be as simple as, you know, 5 versus 3, the numbers game wins.
Yeah. Moscow 5, in actual fact, are forced to back away from that. Amazing coming across with the Oracles clearing out the wall, taking the vision away, so they're not entirely sure where everyone is, not entirely sure where the rest of IWantCookie are, but these 3 members on full health, with the combo of abilities they have, are enough to force Moscow 5 back and away. Darren comes to mid to try and defend. That takes a little bit of poke from Youngbuck, but he should ultimately be okay as he taunts to safety, and now has Diamond Procs here for backup. They're going to try and push onto this turret, and what was that? Quick shot.
I was just saying, look at the itemization here, because we've got, Cocoon lands into Diamond. They may decide to change. That Suicidal Spider goes up, puts some good damage into Diamond Procs. But we've got a Sheen from Kayle, followed up by a needlessly large Rod. Elise currently using a Haunting Guise and Sorcerer's Shoes. So I'm keeping an eye on these items, because it's you know, champions we don't see. This is the first time I've seen Elise, an AP Kayle mid, who's currently sitting 4-3-0, you know. We'll see how this plays out. Dragon is going to go to IWantCookie. The speed buff comes out from Shushu. Can he get in range to apply that Reckoning Slow? And unfortunately, he does not. But IWantCookie now in a bit of a snowbally position. If they can turn this into some more kills or some tower control, maybe they can pick up some more kills. Look at the damage onto Gosu. He's forced to flash. Cocoon comes up. Repel, rather. Going to carry on chasing. Now decides to fall back. But, you know, 1 or 2 abilities, and that's Taric. 50% of his HP dropped.
Watching as that spider stalks its way down towards the bottom lane. They do take out that bottom turret as Genji was forced to back away that fight started, but now YoungBuck's on the prowl, looking for Xin'Zhao or for Ghosty. He's got that cocoon up. He's in human form, waiting to try and land it. Throws it out behind the turret and misses completely. It's going to go on cooldown for the next 10 seconds, but as the creep wave arrives, all 5 members of IWantCookie are... Sorry, 4 members of IWantCookie are down here because Suchet is fighting with Darian in the top lane and losing out. So he has to heal, speed boost himself backwards, and then continue to CS and keep this wave from the turret as Darian does golems. But bottom lane, IWantCookie have been pushed back and away from the turret as Moscow 5 grouped up in its defense. So we do see a little bit of a lull again as the teams reset, gather their buffs, and go back to shop.
Well, take a look at the ward coverage. I mean, look at IWantCookie. They've got complete ward coverage over them of the dragon. As you know, this was in prelude to them taking the dragon a couple minutes ago. But you know, that's great vision, and of course, it allows them to push onto that secondary turret. You know, the inner turret on the bottom lane, because they know exactly who everybody is. Vayne on the bottom lane, Ninja Tab by Phantom Dancer, as well as another cloth armor. So we know he picked up one early to deal with the damage Ezreal's putting out. That became his ninja. But he's still sitting on a second one. Do you expect to see a Wriggles Lantern? Or, well, how much gold does he have? 650. Do you think it's too late for Wriggles? And do you reckon he's going to just sell that and go BF?
I don't want to say sell that and go BF, but I think it might be too late for Wriggles. I think he might just be keeping it for the proc, the extra mag damage to go through the objectives and the jungle monsters, the neutral monsters and stuff. But I think he'll be putting something else a little bit more team beneficial, perhaps. Maybe there's no Aegis on Moscow 5 yet. It's not unheard of to see Diamond Proxy's Xin'Zhao build the Aegis. So with that Null Magimental, maybe that's where it will go instead next.
Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, definitely going to have to pick it up. Those aura buffs are incredibly powerful. Now that you mention it, there's no Aegis on the other side either. Nunu potentially working towards it. He does have that Ruby Crystal, so maybe going to be working towards that himself. 0-1-6, Boots of Mobility. You see IWantCookie playing very sneaky in this top lane. They're leaving YoungBuck. But are they going to take the bait? Because I don't know if they know everybody's here. They're going to jump onto Alex, which we're going to stick with the main fight. Stand United now gets used, immediately comes out. I'm not going to be enough because Shen actually gets completely interrupted. Ultimate comes up from Mover. Now we're going to stick. Where on earth is YoungBuck going? He's flashed over the wall after following the repel. First one to go down is going to be amazing for IWantCookie. But now Diamond Prox is the next member that is in trouble. Shushe's Kayle dealing so much damage until Vayne joins the party. Condemned through the wall. A stun comes out. The Dazzle's going to be enough. Now he's got the double buff. He's followed back. Where is Ezreal? He's going to join this party as well. A very messy fight all the way around. Genja with an easy kill onto Janna. Just going to carry on chasing down. Red buff in hand, and it ends up being a 2-for-3 exchange, but slowly but surely every single member of the team jumped in there. How did Shen's ultimate get interrupted? I didn't actually see.
Let's see, who was he fighting? He was fighting YoungBuck, perhaps it was a cocoon. Okay, taunts in onto YoungBuck, starts to cast his ult, and around... It didn't get cancelled.
Ah, okay.
They just burned through the shield. He landed next to... Sorry, it didn't get cancelled at all.
Alright, there we go. I didn't even see him appearing. Just such a messy, sloppy fight. Everybody jumping in there. But all of a sudden, from Vayne being on the back foot in that game, you know, being controlled in the bottom lane, he's now the one with multiple kills and a whole bunch of gold to spend.
Yeah, he's got a complete Phantom Dancer, and as he has maxed his W as the camera moves away. No, he hasn't. He maxed his Tumble, actually. So maxing Tumble while going Phantom Dancer is a new one. It's not unheard of to see him go Phantom Dancer and max W just for that ultimate true damage output, but this is the way Genja decided to do it. And with 2,100 extra gold, he's got plenty to play with. Another cloth armor is inventory. Could be a very quick Guardian Angel, perhaps.
Yep. That's what I'm thinking about as well.
With Moscow 5, yeah. But we'll wait and see. It's going to push this next wave, I suspect, and then back away as he misses the last CS in the pile. We'll watch him back. We'll keep an eye on his items at the bottom of the page, see what he goes with. If I get back up to live, that's why everything was a bit backwards. And you are 100% correct. He does manage to pick up the Guardian Angel. So Phantom Dancer, Guardian Angel Rush. Vayne not only has got a lot of movement speed, mobility, and kiting ability, but is now in a position where she can just come back to life, you know, in the middle of a fight and carry on chasing. So I like the itemization, especially when you consider the how difficult it is to hold anybody in place. You know, Repel from YoungBuck, you've got Intervention from Kayle, Arcane Shift, you've got all of the knock-up and the counter-initiation from Janna. It's very smart to say, look, if we can't jump onto somebody and kill them immediately, I'll at least respawn and carry on fighting. It makes it very hard to focus him down too. We do see Ice Fantasy trying to chase under Darian, but unfortunately not really being able to keep that up. The rest of IWantCookie looking a little bit lost at the moment as they wait for something to happen. I suspect Dragon may be respawning soon, which is why everyone is in and around this area. Amazing's already lost that Oracles that he had earlier, so those walls for Moscow 5 are going to stay up for their full 3-minute duration. But we're waiting. Neither team really wants to take a fight now. They know they are very, very even, within 300 gold in fact. And, of course, if you take an unnecessary fight, especially against this Moscow 5 squad, and give Vayne 2 or 3 kills more than you should, that could be game over right there. You do.
Exactly. I want to see exactly how Shusha is going to play these team fights out now, because his Reckoning is maxed out. It's dealing a very good chunk of damage. It's a 1-to-1 AP ratio. So 540 damage. Call it 550. My little auto camera swapped over. And his Righteous Fury is hitting for a good amount of damage as well. Nunu manages to pick up the kill. Alex is forced to use his Zhonya's Hourglass. Now we're going to see the repel. Where is Young Buck going? Jumps onto Alex. Stand United is still coming up. They're still trying to focus Alex, but have not got enough damage to burn through the shield, and the Zhonya's Hourglass, a flash from Ice Fantasy to try and get to safety. Alex manages to pick up the first and only kill of that entire exchange, and IWantCookie may be focusing the wrong target, trying to focus somebody that's difficult to blow up. That Pale Cascade, the damage shield, in conjunction with Stand United, in conjunction with Zhonya's Hourglass. Alex took 5 members of IWantCookie and still did not go down.
That is the beauty of Diana right now. She can charge in onto 4 or 5 players, Luna Rush onto the middle of them all, Moonfall them in, gets a massive shield because of it, absorbs a lot of damage, pops her Zhonya's, suddenly you can't kill her, while the rest of the team has been doing work this whole time, and your opponents are thinking, well, we haven't got anything left, and Diana's alive, and oh god, she's out of Zhonya's and coming back for us. But we do see Ice Fandy trying to steal the Baron, and it does go to Moscow 5. Amazing is dropped straight away by Alex Xin'Zhao in return. But he does manage to take down Taric in the middle of that entire exchange. So 1 for 1, but the Baron now on Moscow 5. And with Genja 323, 180 CS, and a Baron buff, and a 306 Darien, this might be a little bit too late for IWantCookie. This late game is severely kicking in.
Yeah, 306, his Warmog's armor is fully stacked, currently sitting on 2,300 gold, so we'll see where he's going to go with that Negatron cloak, exactly what he wants to upgrade it to. And it's just so difficult to deal with, you know, any one of these factors. Diana, that's nearly impossible to kill because of, you know, the shield, the mobility, the Zhonya's. Then you've got a split-pushing Shen that is very fed and fairly well farmed. He's got high, you know, HP, great mobility. Then you've got a Vayne that's now got Baron mobility GA. Any one of them is difficult to deal with or try get through. And now they're going to try to deal with all 3 and at the same time. I think IWantCookie, they had a small window 10 minutes ago where they really needed to convert it into towers, into kills. And unfortunately, they've just given M5 the time that they need to bring themselves into this game.
Very much so. 12 and 9 is our score. Only 2,000 gold to separate. Not the biggest of margins, but as you just explained, all these champions, all this setup, it is huge. As Darien completes a Force of Nature. So this game is continuing its trend of very rarely seen characters, items, skill orders perhaps. I haven't watched everyone's close enough, but there's definitely some weird things going on here. Force of Nature soon to be removed, for those of you that haven't read up on the PBE changes for Season 3. So perhaps it's a fond farewell from Darien.
That's what I was just about to say. It's a nice way to say, you know what, we respect and admire the work that Fon has done in League of Legends up till this point. It's a goodbye to it. I'd love to see all of the jerseys, all of the jacket types armors. A Guardian Angel, a Sunfire Cape on Darren, just getting everything that's a chest piece. That would be a cool item build, I think, you know.
Blitzcrank and Malzahar, not enough for quick shot. We need items.
Yeah.
that would be pretty cool. I'd wear a Warmog. Warmog's armor.
I very much like this. And we'll see how this plays out now. Shusha maybe being caught up, taking a lot of damage. Flash, Lunar Rush, Moonfall, Crescent Strike is not even going to be needed because Shen can pick it up. Now Diamond manages to jump onto Nunu, and Janna needs to be careful because he's behind enemy lines with 4 members of IWantCookie there. Great skill shots actually from IWantCookie through the tree line, but it's not going to be enough to secure anything. Dazzle now onto Young Buck. He has Repel available, so we'll see until he waits to use it. Does switch to human form. He's going to be able to get that out. Look at the damage onto Gosu Pepper. Flash forward, gets that percentage HP. There's the Repel. Genja tanking the tower damage for a little while. Decides not to go for it, and while the rest of Moscow 5 is putting pressure onto this bottom lane, Ignite comes out now. That was down onto Ezreal, and unfortunately Diana, just so much burst and utility, can survive all of Ezreal damage because she's got a good chunk of armor. 200 armor when in range of that Aegis of the Legion.
Insane the amount of armor she's got there, considering how much damage output she has as well. But Moscow 5 use it to poke him down, regen a lot of the health using that Baron buff, of course, and then take the tier 2 turret in the bottom lane. 4 turrets to 3 now in favor of Moscow 5, and they are not stopping yet. Darren, in fact, going in with a taunt onto Suche, immediately followed up by Diamond Proc's charge. Mover pops his ult, but he's Luna rushed by Alex. It misses the Moonfall, but the Crescent Strike lands. Mover under the tier 3 turret. The inhib turret in the mid lane does fall to Alex Ich. Moscow 5 trying to back away, but Darren gets another great taunt onto Suche. Diamond follows it up again. The intervention goes out. Genja's A has been popped. Suche trying to be stealthy, get back to the Nexus turret. Genja tumbles into stealth, tries to hit amazing. The Ezreal comes out and squims straight between the middle of Moscow 5. Diamond Procs will fall after a nice stun over the wall from Youngbuck, but he's now been chased by the 3 remaining members of Moscow 5. The exhaust goes onto him. Genja takes that shield from Shen. Shen will fall before he manages to complete the teleport, but it does save Genja's life. Now the rest of IWantCookie are chasing onto the retreating members of Moscow 5. Alexich will fall. Genja will make it out. The Sirelius has been popped, but they don't know where he's gone, and indeed, he is safe.
Yeah, really, really good push from Moscow 5. I think they just were a little too aggressive for a little too long, hence giving away all those kills. If they'd maybe just stuck to the towers and picked up the tower kills, they could have got an inhibitor out of that. But you know what? It played into their favor. They managed to get a whole number of kills. They got a 3,000 gold lead. The Baron buff is about to wear off. And I don't think IWantCookie are going to be able to do anything other than get this middle lane tower. So 1-for-1 trade and all those kills. You got to say that Moscow 5 is still very happy. And is this going to be a Trinity Force on Shen? Is that what we're seeing with the Sheen?
Very possible. It's not unheard of. It's normally done a bit sooner than this, but it's there, and why not? He's 5-on-1. They're not really focusing him. He's getting a lot of time to just wail away onto Suche in all these fights, get a bit of damage, make that a bit quicker, then you can switch onto someone else. That was a very quick dragon from IWantCookie. And I wanted to point out how there is 50 CS on Taric right now. He was split pushing that top lane for quite a while there at the end of that last fight. And as a result, he's got a Zeke's Herald complete and is spamming out wars like nobody's business. It's a very, very rich Taric indeed.
Yeah, 700 gold more than Janna, his lane counterpart. So, huge, huge, huge chunk different. I seen he actually purchased, I believe, 7 wards in total on his last back, so he's running them all around. And you can see immediately what Moscow 5 are doing. If you look at their vision, it's just giving all the Baron coverage that they can. They know Baron's going to be up within the next sort of 2 to 3 minutes. And if you have a look over at Giant's vision, there's absolutely nothing around Baron. So they're just giving it all there. They're leaving all of the vision and sight that they need. So when Baron's up, they take it and close out the game.
And there is our build path complete for Suche. That's where the Nuclear Arch Rod went into a Death Cap, and the Sheen finished off into a Lich Bane. So that's his option. It is AP, but still very auto attack heavy. And with the Blood Boil coming out from Amazing, that's going to be a lot of damage in a very short space of time, using Righteous Fury as well, so he can stay at range as he goes.
Well, take a look at the numbers on this really quickly. Oh, we do have a pause, but where is my mouse? My mouse has disappeared, but it's a 1-to-1 AP scaling on that Reckoning ability. Base numbers, I think, is 260, plus 417 from his AP. So that's a huge, huge, huge chunk of direct magic damage. Follow that up with an auto attack burst from his Lichbane proc, and then all of the magic AP damage, which I believe is around 150 or 200, maybe a little bit higher now, from his Righteous Fury. And he's going to be hitting incredibly hard. But look at Elise. Frozen Heart after Haunting, guys. Ooh, hello. We've unpaused a bit dramatically. What do you think of Elise's build?
Elise, I don't know what to think of it, because I haven't seen enough Elise. I haven't seen enough options. I don't really know where to go, but there's a nice bit of spell pen in there. It's getting more or less, I see, where's Genja? No, not quite, but it's getting a long way through the magic resist Genja has there. We'll be doing plenty of damage to him. But on top of it, slowing the attack speed, being very tanky, using that Frozen Heart, and now starting to get some magic resist. I don't know. I don't know her numbers. I don't know enough. I know she's notoriously weak in the late game, as we now see her dueling Darian in the bottom lane, and it's actually being quite an even fight. And in fact, Youngbuck has forced Darian to back away. So yeah, maybe this build is working. Maybe it's quite strong. He does come back in with a quick feint, takes another burst of damage percentage health base, but the rest of the team are all fighting and dancing around the Baron pen up in the top lane.
Darren is still going to carry on chasing a very nice repel from Youngbuck. He's going to stay on this chase. Vorpal Blade, the exchange ignites. Explosive Suicidal Spider goes out, trying to bait Youngbuck towards the rest of the team. Darren is going to stick around with this low health. He's got the Force of Nature HP ticking over. Now Youngbuck is in a little bit of trouble. Look at all the spiders going through the wall. That was a bit of an interesting one. Dazzle, Shadow Dash, Taunt. Repel does actually manage to go off, so Youngbuck stays alive for a few more seconds, flashes over the wall, Radiance comes down from Gosu Pepper. It's not going to be enough, but the Crescent Strike in the background, that's going to be able to close them up. While that's happening, Shushe, Amazing, and Movert manage to shut down Genja. They trade AD carry for AD carry, but who has the stronger team now that you consider Diana, Xin, and Shen versus Kayle, Janna, and Nunu?
So, Genja is down. Both of the AD carries down, as you say. Youngbuck is as well, and Moscow 5 have prompted this to go in for the Baron. We do have Amazing here. He's got his Consume, he's got his Smite. It's very, very hard to try and steal from that, but when he's the one trying to do the stealing, can he get in close enough against Moscow 5? Click on the Baron. He's down to 4,500 health and dropping fast. Now down to 4,000. They pull off. They're going to go in. Sushi gets taunted up by Darren. Moonfall goes in, brings Amazing in close. Alex has still got his GA. Ghostu's going very low. The intervention comes out from Sushi. He does manage to finish Ghostu Pepper. That's the Oracle's down. Sushi getting saved by Mover, so healing him back up. But Diamond Prox immediately comes in with a knock-up. Now dashing onto Mover. Alex is last to do a rush, trying to get in range. Moonfall's not going to land, and with that last slow, Amazing Mover are out safe. And ultimately, they stop the Baron attempt.
Yeah, you got to think that it's definitely worth it. They trade 1 kill for 1 kill, and they prevent Moscow 5 from getting the Baron. IWantCookie should be happy with that, especially if Alex can carry on putting pressure on this top lane. I mean, look, there's a lot of members of Moscow 5 alive. Oh, no, I'm blind. Alex is playing for Moscow 5. He's clearing the top lane. But nevertheless, IWantCookie, good trade there. Stopping Baron, trading 1 for 1. And they're going to allow themselves to get in there, potentially defend or take this Baron when it comes up. But they need vision. The only player that's got wards right now is Janna, and they've got absolutely no vision anywhere on the map. They're behind. It's not a lot. It's only 3,000 gold, and at this point in time, that's nothing. But they need to get some control of their side of the jungle and potentially start invading and taking some map control back to bring themselves back into this game.
So, Darien back to split pushing again, solid in this bottom lane. 20 seconds on his ultimate, so they're not going to see any kind of fight from Moscow 5 just yet, and if they do, it may be a little bit of a mistake, but ultimately that should be back up again soon. Next time they start a fight, we'll see him jump in Alex Hitch perhaps, or into Genja to keep them going, keep them fighting for as long as possible, on top of the fact they both have Guardian Angels and there's a Zhonya's on Alex Hitch. So, you really need to pick your targets smart here if you're IWantCookie. And they do go in into Alex Hitch. The stun comes out from Youngbuck. He immediately gets the slowdown from Amazing, but it's cancelled. The intervention goes in into Youngbuck as well to try and save him. Genja does have his attacks be slowed by Amazing. Youngbuck's out safely, but Alex Hitch picks up the first kill. Second kill going in onto Genja as Amazing and Sushi fall, and immediately IWantCookie trying to back away. Ice Fancy coming forward. Needs to be very careful as Darren is closing in. He's got that Trinity Force, so he's got the movement speed buff, but he gets to get the taunt off onto Mover. A lie, he hasn't got the Trinity Force yet. Darren, though, gets that red buff down onto Ice Fancy, and being kited by the two of these two does get a brilliant taunt back over the wall, does get out to safety and back to a last heal from Gosu Pepper. The rest of Moscow 5, however, are completing the Baron. It's down to 2,500 health. Youngbuck's over the wall. He repels in. Can he get the steal? It's 1,000 health. No! Diamond Prox picks it up, and Youngbuck does fall in the pits. Moscow 5, 21 kills to 5, 6,000 gold lead. Is this game over?
It has to be. 6,000 gold, Baron for the next couple of minutes. If they pick up an inhibitor, that's 100% sealed. But the fact that Vayne has got enough gold now to finish an Infinity Edge or the Bloodthirst or whatever he decides to go for, as well as the GA, as well as the Phantom Dancer, the fact that Shen is sitting on 3,000 gold, has got enough gold to finish the Trinity Force, I believe, if my math is correct, they're just going to get even more powerful. IWantCookie did not look like they were contributing in that fight at all. You know, Moscow 5, they set the pace. Shen joined late with Stand United, you know, as they wanted to. There's just not a lot IWantCookie can do right now to pull this one back.
So the fact that Moscow 5 could do what they just did, with all this gold in their inventory, no items been, it hasn't been spent on any items, it kind of shows how hopeless this situation is here for IWantCookie. As soon as they go back and buy those items, as you say, they're only going to get stronger. And if you can't handle them while they're weaker, what are you going to do once they're stronger?
Yeah.
Genja and Alex still pushing mid with this Guardian Angel. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, no, not only were they, you know, weaker in terms of that, they've got the Baron buff statistics as well as all the item statistics that they're going to get now. It's just, ooh, a very nice cocoon from Youngbuck, but that's going to actually cost him his life. The rest of Moscow 5 dive forward. Intervention comes down. They've saved a lot of Young Bucks live. Alex is just forced out of the fight and very low HP. This could be IWantCookie's fight though. They're going to see them diving forward. Young Buck forced to flash over the wall to get to safety. And we see once again a very nice reckoning. That's going to pop Alex Hitch's Guardian Angel. Diamond Prox still alive in and amongst the fight. After the Monsoon from Janna comes out to heal everybody, Ice Fantasy is going to go as aggressive as possible. He's used his cleanse, so crowd control reductions are going to be a little bit lower. If they proc Genja's GA, this could be Genja going down now as well. So 2 for nothing exchange. This is going to be 3 for nothing. 1, 2, 3 auto attacks. Genja's still alive before Ice Fantasy jumps in there. In the background, Gosu Pepper's taking the rest of IWantCookie on a little bit of a sightseeing trip. And a very, very nice from IWantCookie. Just as I write them out, I need to give them an apology and say, look, they've won a team fight now, but is it going to lull them into a false sense of security? Trinity Force picked up a Shen as well as a Chain Vest, so that's going to be working towards his GA. Diamond Prox working towards a GA. Alex Hitch has picked up his Death Cap. We're going to see what Genja decides to buy, but that's a lot of more big, high-value, high-ticket items in their back pocket.
I mean, you say for security, they're going to get the in-hit. They could almost get both Nexus turrets here. There's still a lot of time on these death timers for Moscow 5. That was a brilliant fight for IWantCookie with that intervention, saving so much of Youngblood's health. They're on to 1 Nexus turret. There's only 2 members of Moscow 5 up. Do get a great taunt from Darren across 3 members of IWantCookie. Diamond Prox putting them back off the turret, but the Nexus is exposed. The Nexus is going down very quickly. Youngblood's repelling to safety. Mover trying to do all the damage he can. Ezreal does fall. Sushi's going to be the next one. He's intervention himself, trying to do the last bit of damage, but the minions was born and got in the way. Mover's not going to be able to do it either, and Moscow 5 have saved their Nexus.
Now, do they have enough time to win? This is the question. Super creeps down the middle lane. There's a huge wave of creeps down in this bottom lane. Moscow 5 are running as quick as they can to get up. Shadow Dash taunt used by Darren. Are we going to see every movement spell there? What an amazing play from IWantCookie. The timers were great. The Nexus towers are down. If Moscow 5 if they don't win now and they make any more mistakes, IWantCookie should be able to win the game.
Should Moscow 5 have a lot of minions here in the bottom lane though? This is what IWantCookie didn't have. They had to take a lot of damage from the turrets in the process. Now Diamond comes in, they do take down 1 turret. They're going to work onto the inhib. Everyone on IWantCookie is still dead, but there's no AD carry here. Now Genji's here is going to start to speed up a lot more. Diamond Prox tanking the Nexus turrets. First one is going to drop very quickly. The Radiance comes out from from Gosu for the bonus AD. Amazing is up, but the rest of IWantCookie is still down. The both Nexus have fallen. It's going to get the slow out. It's going to be cancelled. Movement is now here. Can he cancel Moscow 5? Knock back away from the Nexus, but it's dropping fast, and it will fall. It's just enough time for everyone on IWantCookie to spawn, but Suche still on the fountain, and Moscow 5 take game number 1.
What a phenomenal play. That was an amazing end to the game. It could not have been closer right at the end. Even though, you know, the Moscow 5 roster scaled better and better and better into the late game, IWantCookie held in there. So, Panky, we're going to be back with game number 2 shortly. I need to throw up an advert break and play some music. So,